Right, it is time to end the money game. Final chapter, part 3. So is this going to be like Toy Story 3 or Iron Man 3? And yeah, I'm kind of a dork. Welcome to the channel, everybody. I am OGL Schmitt. This is Custom Creator, capping off this incredible trilogy by Ren. First two money games I really enjoyed because they were different pieces. And musically, they were very, very different. But there were sort of melodic themes and lyrical themes that threaded through both songs. It was it's a great story, and I'm really interested to see what Ren does with number 3 because this is a 9-minute song, so it really looks like he's out to close this one with a bang. So real quick, let me pay the bills. Ironically enough, money game. Um, we have a buy me a coffee link under there. It's the small donation will get you a request shot right to the top of the pack, to the head of the line, whatever you want to call it. Um, this for me, it's more of a buy me a Coke. For Danny's, buy me a coffee. We have channel memberships and a Patreon. Pretty inexpensive. We want them to be affordable. Money's hard to come by these days. But some really cool exclusive content there. We're working on getting it getting it updated further. Um, all this goes to benefit the channel. It's not buying us Ferraris or anything like that, or Hot Wheels. It'll be more in our price range right now. But no, we just want to make the look and the sound of the channel better for you guys. And we also have a Discord. If you would like to join, just leave us a let us know in the comments. We'll send you a link. We just talk about all kinds of stuff there. We're always looking for some weird, loud, passionate voices. So real quick, uh, Brent himself has fallen on some hard times, medically speaking. So let's all keep him in our thoughts, and let's also keep the people of North Carolina in our thoughts because they're struggling. A lot of private citizens are stepping up. That's been really great to see, but those guys are going to be hurting for a while. So let's keep those keep all those people in our thoughts, and yeah, let's dive into the conclusion of the money game. So, these money game things, I always pause like a minute in. It seems like I just wanted to comment because both of the money game parts that I've listened to have been very different. The first one was just very sparse, very minimalist, just acoustic guitar and vocal. Then the second one had much more of a produced, arranged feeling. There's a lot more going on with that song musically. And here we've got something completely different. I mean, this is a full on classical piano piece. I mean, Ren's going for broke here, or going for baroque. Please don't unsubscribe. I'm not even a father, but man, I got some dad jokes. So is this perhaps one of Ren's blinded uh, sycophants, um, prisoners? There's another hooded fellow approaching. So I I mentioned in the previous reaction to Money Game 2 uh, that there was some. No, it wasn't. It was the first Money Game. I mentioned there was some Kubrick in Ren's work. I think that he should be in a remake of the of A Clockwork Orange. but some of the camera work here is definitely giving me some Sam Raimi vibes. All right, so I'm going to start this from the beginning and let this play out a little bit more. Very interesting, completely different from the first two parts of the Money Game. So at first I thought that was Ren on piano when I saw the hands. Ah. Nope. You're in my seat, sir. The suit and the hood is such a creepy visual. Ah, so it was Ren on piano. I just wanted to mention that it's interesting that the vocal traits I think of when I think of Ren, the two things that stick out the most are his amazing like flow and rhythmic ability as a rapper, and this very like haunting, plaintive head voice falsetto that he's got. It's really expressive, and those are two very strange specializations for one individual to have. Uh, he's used this to great effect all throughout this trilogy. Yeah, there's always already a longing that's coming in. This great atmosphere to start things off. All right, let's keep going.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents paid for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18, and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19.
So it's interesting how sometimes Ren can have like this perfect, crisp diction in his rapping, and then sometimes he will sort of blur the words together, I guess, slur them. Um, the interesting thing, like his rapping feels very snarky, like it's sort of mocking. But the story he's telling here is actually fairly heartwarming. It's just about I mean, 1 year old, and his first words are mine, give me it. I mean, common for kids. Um, but it's basically a kid that developed rather quickly, and the father telling him, learn to be a man. A man works for what he wants. Um, that's a solid lesson. He's doing good academically, which is good. His parents are, trying to send him to a good school to kind of nurture that. Um, money is a means to all ends. It's a generalized phrase, but essentially encouraging him to be successful. IQ at 150, still elevating. Yeah, so basically, this is someone that has succeeded very quickly. So the subtext I'm getting in this already, though, is like, okay, so this guy is probably at some point early was probably bullied or outcast in school, as unfortunately, like the sort of nerdy bookworm types usually are. So that's already sort of planting a seed in him. And I'm sure the parents at the time was like, "Oh, you're so much better than them. Look how much smarter you are than them." So you're developing a disdain for others and sort of building up yourself. So yeah, that's inflating an ego very, very quickly. 17 is practically a millionaire. Okay. 18, and his daddy tells him, "Now you're a man. The world don't give a damn about you. So take all that you can." This goes back to me to the Jenny and Screech reaction where I talked about how, young men are sort of, I don't want to say, I'm trying to think of the word, but we're kind of left on our own. Like, we're expected to deal with things. If we complain about something, we're a whiner. If we get angry about it, we're toxic. If we cry about it, we're weak. So like what his dad tells him isn't entirely untrue. My dad essentially said something similar to me when I was younger than that. It wasn't essentially to develop any hatred for the world or anything, but just sort of a knowledge of how it was going to react to me, I guess. um, yeah, so right off the bat, sort of and if someone who's this successful so early, a lot of people are going to resent him for that. A lot of people are going to be trying to, he's going to be a target for parasites. So, all right, let's keep going. It's a story of success, but there's dark clouds on the horizon here.
At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. Develops software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17 and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18 and his daddy tells him, "Now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can." 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury, crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, "Listen here, son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won." 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says, "You're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place." 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket.
And thank you once again, Mr. Ren, for allowing me a natural pause in which I can give my thoughts. Ren is very cool about it. uh, Again, space used so well for his music, but it also kind of helps me as a reactor too. Because wow, he was going so fast and going through so much, and from 17 to Popo inside his pocket, he was going so fast and going through so many like different, I guess, versions of his voice, going through so many like modulations and different sound sources, different rhythmic types, different melodic types, different. It's very theatrical, very expressive, and very compelling. Also, that also sort of it sort of mirrors like this rapid rise through the ranks, this very fast-paced lifestyle where you don't have time to sort of plant your feet and take stock of things. It's just flying by, flying by, flying by, and he's reacting to it instinctively, and his instincts have been developed in a very weaponized way, I suppose. Um, all young men want their fathers to be proud of them. That's just a fact. Um, and I liked the advice that his dad was giving him at first. Um, Also, do realize I'm talking about a fictitious character, but it's meant to sort of be an exaggerated version of reality, and maybe sometimes not quite that exaggerated. But talking about being honest and saying the world doesn't care about you, telling him that you got to work for everything that you have. I liked those lessons. But then when he's saying just while you're sitting in the palace, that doesn't mean that you've won. So I guess this tells me that his dad was probably very similar type. Uh, Maybe either like developed very early, was just like a ruthlessly hard worker that plowed through and wasn't particularly well liked, and sort of maybe developed a disdain for people. So yeah, it's all about lording above them, I guess, and that he's passed that on to his child. Um, Mother's not mentioned here a whole lot, so is missing that balance, that sort of that care, that softer touch. It's just go, 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 and never just like, hey, you don't have to do all this. Um, Got to have that balance. That's why two parents in a household is so important. Um, but yeah, and like all of this with that sort of rollicking piano in the background, it feels chaotic, it feels rushed, but like tightly controlled. So it's matching the subject matter perfectly. And yeah, so apparently he's gone from being a corporate whiz to a drug dealer. I think Scarface might be an influence here. But yeah, let's go back a little bit right before Ryan gets his phone call. Real quick, want to go back. And I already messed this up. There's a Rubik's Cube on the table. That was awesome.
Moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32 moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the popo inside of his pocket. 35. He gets the call. I'm sorry, son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack. I'm sorry, he's gone. 36. Getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37. Eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38. With a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39. Getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
So I'm taking advantage of this to. So I've been sort of comparing the situation a couple of times to my own dad, and dad died of a heart attack. So that came out of nowhere and hit me kind of hard. So in the first money game, the first part, I was amazed by how much Ren was able to get out of a small budget. It really looks like they've got a lot more money to work with now. So I guess maybe this is after Ren had become a bit more known, a bit more successful, and that's cool. He's funneling all that money back into his art. Um, so this is an interesting chapter in the tale because he's been moving, going forward. Just he's got is I guess a drug and weapons runner. He's got the police in his pocket. Um, his dad has a heart attack, so that's his inspiration. That's his uh, I mean, yeah, it's his dad. I don't care how much you've done, how bad you are. That's gonna hurt. So clearly, he doesn't take it well. He's mentions of a silver spoon and chasing the dragon. So chasing the dragon, I I know the meaning of that. I would never have known heating up the silver spoon without without Danny. Uh, Anyone that's new, Danny is my partner. We do reactions together. He's the one that started this channel. He's an awesome dude. He's taught me a lot. Daddy's words still driving him to kill and devour. Um, Makes a move against the cartel, but his strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. So this is interesting because the other bad aspect of that, besides the fact that early I felt that he may have been ostracized at school and sort of like being told how great he is at home, and uh, that the world is yours to claim. Um, and it seems like he's been going through without a hitch. Like he's just been plowing through. Now all of a sudden he hits a snag, and it's a big one. Now all of a sudden he's humbled. Now all of a sudden he can't be that alpha, that guy. Um, and this is sort of where characters are defined. This is his first major bit of adversity. I'm sure along the way, doing what he did, he encountered challenges, but those were things that he had been training himself to deal with his entire life. This was never part of the plan. So let's see how Jimmy deals with this. Jimmy, interestingly enough, wasn't Screech named James, and Jimmy was also that is a Tool song where Jimmy was Maynard James Keenan's younger self, his young innocent self. So the name Jimmy musically is carrying a lot of weight. Okay, let's go back a little bit. I'm sorry, one more thing. Just Ren's performance, like staggering around like he's drunk, and now it's just that look of defeat. Yeah, I loved the lyric video to Money Game too, but it's so great to see him, performing because he adds so much to his art. Just his performance, both vocally and physically. Uh,
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck for money and fame. Cut the music. This isn't entertainment. This is real life. The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution?
I like how even when he speaks, there's this rhythmic cadence. I'm sure a lot of it's intentional, but even when I've seen some like behind the scenes stuff, there's a natural rhythm to how he speaks. Whoa.
Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface then consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
Okay, so first of all, Ren is going to give his poor fans a heart attack. He's going to light himself on fire at the end of first part of the money game, and this one ends before he. Yeah. So the answer to my question was Jimmy does not handle his humbling well. Um, there are so I love how this. I guess it's the second verse before the last, where he basically takes Jimmy's childhood and sort of changes that perspective to his, crippled adult life. Um, those riches turn to rubble where perspective when perspective evolves. Um, yeah, he's not able to plow forward anymore. He's not able to be that winner, that killer. He is the sort of person that he's probably looked down upon most of his life, and he's lost his father, so all of his if all of that led to where he's at now, yeah, now he's cursing it. Uh, then Ren sort of stepped out of character, basically said, this is us. And this is what I was talking about before, how he's going to bring it all full circle. It's like these are all money, borders, all of these things. They're human ideas, and we may have these ideas, and we may start these ideas, and we may follow these ideas with good intentions. Um, but even if we follow our ideas with good intentions, that doesn't mean that others aren't going to take those ideas and do bad things with them. I'll give you an example. This one always kind of cracks me up is that the gentleman who invented dynamite, a thing that's sole purpose is to explode, he thought it would end war. I guess maybe he thought its value and maybe, I don't know, like clearing land or getting rid of obstacles. I don't know. But like, you create something that explodes, you think it's going to end war. Then the Wright brothers thought the plane would end war. Um, and now most wars are fought by dropping explosives from planes or from things that fly. So it, even if you are true to your idea, that doesn't mean that the rest of the world is going to be. There are a couple things in his thing I disagree with. Um, I don't like the idea of a utopia. I don't think that's ever going to happen because what is utopia to one person is a, dystopia to another. So what happens? You know, do you just remove everybody from that disagrees? Do you silence them? Do you remove them? I think what has to happen is we just kind of have to agree that other people are going to have different ideas. It's not going to be a utopia. I think maybe people have the wrong idea about that. We're always going to disagree and things aren't always going to go our way. But the best world I can imagine is when things aren't going their way, they shrug it off and they keep plowing ahead and trying to be good people, try to help themselves, help their loved ones, and eventually things will go around and it'll be their time to benefit. Um, that's just my take on it. But the idea of a utopia where a paradise where adversity is minimized. No, Danny and I have talked about this before. You have to have the bad things to give the good things context. Sometimes, like in another story, like another Jimmy who went through this would change his life completely. Would take the rest of his money and form a charity or perform a corporation that actually has more meaning. He could turn his life around and you know take the lessons of his father and make them something special. Perhaps I don't know what parts of him are damaged. Perhaps even maybe you know find a partner, adopt a child, and teach them how to do this right. Use his lessons. Um, so yeah, it's a gripping story, and it's Ren's just his ability to construct stories and his wordplay is just it's mind-boggling and it's second to none. I absolutely love it, and but this is not always the result of someone being ambitious or ahead of the curve or wanting to do something big. You can't be afraid to dream big. You gotta you gotta be careful what's influencing you. That's where those you know strong inner sense of self, strong morals, where you're not pulled in different directions by people who don't share your original vision. I could just go on forever. Yeah, Ren is absolutely amazing. I love talking about this stuff, guys. Let's continue this conversation in the comments. Thank you very much for watching this. This has been an amazing trilogy. Um, but now that this is done, like, where do I go from here? So, suggestions, fellas. What Ren songs do I do next? Yeah, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you all very much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your kind words. It's it's been awesome, and it's going to continue to be awesome. So thank you very much. Does Ren have anything that would fit a Halloween theme? I really want to start doing Halloween themed content for the channel because it's October. I really wanted to do that last year. So yeah, so hope to see a lot of comments, guys, because I want to know what your interpretations of the money game are, what your thoughts on my interpretations are, what Ren songs should I do next, and does Ren have anything that is thematically appropriate for Halloween? Mental health is real. Be a part of the start. If not now, then how? Take care of yourselves so you can take care of others. And music is your best support group. Listen to it frequently. Also, Ren is absolutely amazing. Thank you all.